roughly half the women in this country suffer from some form of vein problem. Varicose veins is one of the most common problems, and a large percentage of men also suffer from them. Dr. Oz, what can we do now to prevent varicose veins down the road? And I have to say, I told you I was pregnant,
yes.
8 months, varicose veins, waddling. It wasn't a pretty picture.
No, well,
what can we do? Help me.
They bear something very beautiful, but they pay a price sometimes. You know, when you're pregnant, you actually release hormones that relax the tissues. That's how the baby comes out. That's one of the first times women start to see varicose veins. But there are things that we do in our normal day-to-day lives that sort of have that same effect. I'm going to go through a couple. One little tip for just physical.
Okay.
Go stand on both your legs, shift back, and then forth every few minutes if you have to be in a standing position for a job. And you know, elegant little tactics to get off your legs, like a surgeon will often do by sitting once in a while they're operating, will work. As you know, I'm a surgeon. We all have varicose veins if we don't do that, because we're always standing, and gravity puts too much pressure on those veins. So, talking about pressure, I have a lot of fiber here. Fiber in the form of a supplement, but also in terms of real foods, because when you have fiber in your diet, you don't have to strain so much. And it may sound crazy, but when you strain, you pop the blood back down into the varicose veins. They're actually not varicose, they're just regular veins, but they get engorged. When they get engorged, they begin to distend and swell, and they get used to being in that condition. That's why being overweight's a problem for folks with varicose veins. And if you eat foods of this nature, real foods, you won't have that problem. The other issue is because these foods are naturally found without salt, you're not getting too much salt in your diet. Heavy salt diets bloat you.
Yes.
And they bloat especially the fluid inside your body, and that fluid is collected in the veins. So if you take a hose and you, or a balloon more likely, push too much fluid into it, it engorges.
And varicose veins can be painful.
Oh.
I mean, I remember having them then. Support hose, is that something that also can help? I mean, it was like the thick...
You know, support hose work so well, but I can tell you,
But they're not very pretty, Dr. Oz.
That's the problem. I cannot tell you how many women I've given this advice to. They look at me like I'm crazy.
Yes.
Because no woman is going to put support hose on. However, at night when you're by yourself, if you're not going out in public, put the support hose on. If you're wearing pants, put them under there as well. Okay. Now, there's two other food groups I want to talk about. These are super important. The colorful berries have flavonoids in them. These are, and the color is called by things called anthocyanins, so the blueberries, the blackberries, the raspberries. These get into your body and they provide nutrients for the walls of the veins, so the veins can rebuild themselves. And remember, if the vein's thicker and stronger, it doesn't distend quite so readily. So by eating these kinds of foods, you actually are doing yourself a huge benefit. Listen, they're good for you for 50 other reasons as well, but if you want to get rid of varicose veins, or if everyone in your family has them, you want to try to reduce the chance of you getting them, try these out.
Fresh berries.
And the last thing that happens sometimes is that we have something that's naturally occurring in our body where we break down some tissues and we make new tissues and replace them. The body's always renewing itself. It's called fibrinolysis. Right? And you want to let that happen. And these foods will allow that to happen more readily. Onions, scallions, chives, ginger is great as an anti-inflammatory, and cayenne pepper, which I know is a little bit hot, but cayenne pepper is
But we like it here in the Southwest.
I know you like it here. And these kinds of foods will naturally allow your body to remodel its tissues. So even if you've gone through a pregnancy, for example, and distended up a little bit the veins, you can recontour them in the right direction.
Now, what about exercise? Is that important as well?
Exercise is valuable. If you can get up and just walk instead of sitting all day, because you know when you sit, you kink off the veins.
Yes.
So the fluid collects there. So any kind of activity that allows the fluid to regenerate through your body and turn like it's supposed to helps. But you know what? The reality is, for a lot of people, it's just all plain genetics.
I knew you were going to say that.
But we've got answers.
If you start eating a healthy diet of these, you can really reduce your chances, or maybe not get as many or have them as large.
These will be hugely beneficial. And listen, again, your genes will load the gun. The environment pulls the trigger. You do these things, you can reduce the appearance of them. But if there are people who still have varicose veins, and we've got some wonderful solutions for them.
All right, thank you. A lot of great information. Of course, exercise and a healthy diet, like Dr. Oz said, are just two great ways to reduce your risk. It's very much of a hereditary condition. So, Lisa, there is some help out there for people.
Yeah, thank goodness. There's a simple procedure that can be done in office. Here with more is Dr. Philip Wall from Arizona Vein and Vascular Center. It's good to see you, Dr. Wall. Thanks for joining us. First, let's talk about leg pain. When do you know that leg pain is a problem?
It's a problem when it simply affects your lifestyle or your job. If you can't complete your postal route because of leg pain, you have to stop and take a break, or because you're on the golf course and you can't complete the 18th hole, or something as simple as it's unsightly and you don't want to wear your skirt or your shorts. Sure, you go home and your legs are aching, you can't sleep, all that kind of stuff. There's an issue. You need to address it. What kind of things can you do then? You know, with today's technology, it's very easy to address these issues, which can either be from a vein or an arterial problem. And for most people, when it's a vein problem, it looks like big, bulging, ropey varicose veins, and we can actually treat these in the office now with minimally invasive procedures. So we're looking at a before and after, and yet, oh wow, what a big difference. And it's fairly easy now to correct this? Yes, this actually can be done in less than 30 minutes in the office with local anesthesia. We can take you from looking like that on the left, where you have a big ropey vein, to the right, and this can be done in a matter of half an hour.
Wow, but I'm assuming don't wait till it gets like that, right? The earlier
Definitely
you can
not.
get it treated?
That's a late stage, and you can see it as early as some brown discoloration of your legs, or as something as soon as redness or swelling or achiness or heaviness at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think people think they have to wait till it gets that bad to get treated, but of course you don't have to at all.
No.
And there's another procedure. Now tell us about this one.
This procedure here is also very similar. This is about varicose veins as well, and we can also do sclerotherapy for these veins that are much more superficial and not as ropey.
So what does that consist of?
We actually can do sclerotherapy now with the vein wave treatment, which uses radiofrequency and a small electrolysis needle. Oh. We don't even have to inject with chemicals currently. So there's a lot of great new technology to address varicose veins and spider veins.
So there's so much more you can do now. And I think in the past people always used to think, oh, we have to wait till they're really bad to get medically treated. But better you catch them now. You'll
Correct.
get more of it, is that right?
More of it earlier, and the recurrence will be less if you get to treat the veins that are causing the problem, which is at the valve level in the leg.
And do you always have to have the veins to know there's an issue, or you just have the achiness, the tiredness?
Yeah, you don't have to exactly see these big, huge, ropey veins. The heaviness, the swelling, the brown discoloration, those are some early signs that you may have a vein problem.
Yeah, so don't sit and wait and be in pain when you really don't have to. And don't be afraid to show your legs because you don't like the way they look. There's so much that can be done. It's so many better ways to get it done nowadays. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Some good information, so don't suffer with varicose veins any longer. Thank you, Dr. Wall.
Thank you.
So if you would like more information about Arizona Vein and Vascular Center, please visit them online at azvascular.com, or you can call the number you see right there on your screen.